Lucy in the Sky without diamonds. Well, there is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, the song, at one point in the movie, and they do have that in mind when they name the film shortly. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, at the time when the Beatles had this hit song, was considered to be a reference to LSD, to the drug. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But I think it was not. I think I've read somewhere that the Beatles dismissed that. It wasn't their intention. But anyway, Natalie Portman is Lucy, the heroine. John Hamm is complex character. I'm tempted to say very close to the villain in the movie, but not altogether. I mean, he doesn't kill anyone, he doesn't steal it. Well, he does steal some affection. Anyway, he's a this is a supporting role, so we will need to concentrate on Natalie Portman, who is normally spectacular, formidable, Wonder Woman, super intelligent actress, and that is, I understand, rare. I mean, to have such a complete human being. I mean, they can be great actors, but they tend to be very bizarre in real life, and that goes with the job. It's difficult to be various people and still know who you are, really. In Point Counterpoint, I think, Aldous Huxley, he has a character, an actress that becomes one of her roles. When she's rather sophisticated, intellectual, upper class, I also think. And when people go to visit, they are sure that they have met the servant, the maid, who says something, as the mistress is not home, or when in fact it was her, the actress, but not just playing, becoming the sort of role. So there's more about actors and actresses. Some say they're needy people, but let's not get into all of that. Let's just say that Natalie Portman doesn't have the best performance of her life, in my view. Critics, by the way, the relevant ones, not those at the periphery, those outside the mainstream and any stream, like yours truly. But important critics, which you can and should consult, by the way, by clicking on the IMDb site on the Metascore, Meta, and a Metacritic summary, and then you find Variety in your New York Times and so, and some excerpts, basically what they think of this and all the other major movies. Recent, for the old ones, most often you find very few. In fact, I had the first note for, can you believe it, for a Bergman, Ingmar Bergman, Scenes from a Marriage, I think. There was no other critic or a link to a critic there on the site. Paradoxically, inexplicably. So they say the movie is not very good. Far from that. And they're right, because even if we have this wonderful artist, One critic seems to think, and he says that the director, who I think is the one behind Fargo, the television series, not Coen Brothers, evidently, for the movie, motion picture, for the big screen, classical landmark, one of the best 30 ever made, for this viewer and so many others. So the director is responsible. He should have allowed Natalie Portman to carry the movie with her performance, but whether it's her fault, his fault, both of them have made mistakes. The result is not compelling, not overwhelming, not by a long shot. There are some moments. There is this idea that she's an astronaut, familiar theme. Maybe there's this problem of deja vu of being here before. Eva Green has a film launching spring, and that seems to be better and better appreciated, better acclaimed. I forgot the name, I'm afraid. Even if I made a note on it, which you can find on the blog if you're interested, which I'm not. And you're right. She has this, if not epiphany, she has this wonderful experience. She's out there in space, and then she says, and maybe this explains the movie, and we finish here. So you've been out there in space, in she doesn't say that, but let me assume that it's something like Eden, something like fantastic, otherworldly experience, literally and figuratively. So you come back, and what do you have? How does this compare? In other words, she has been where a few handfuls of people have the chance to be. Jack Nicholson, in terms of endearment as an astronaut, I'm just joking. The character, there's so many astronauts there, everywhere in movies, nearly. And so this is very small now. The experience, once you've reached this nirvana, this bliss, this zenith, everything else pales in comparison. And then you have problems and phenomena, effects from psychology and positive psychology, hedonic adaptation. Lower your expectations, things like that. But it's traumatic for her to come back to Earth and go through life. She's not completely satisfied with her husband, so she engages in a relationship with John Hamm, a colleague, candidate for some of the missions coming for NASA, and a womanizer. I mean, he's with her, but then next thing we know, a bit later, we see him with another woman from the same team, and with that, something like a rascal out of the Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Michael Caine and Steve Martin, which was great. A feminine version was not so wonderful with Anne Hathaway and Rebel Wilson. And not because it was made with women. Let's not be foolish with that. It's not a sexist assessment. It's just that the script, the production, whatever, was not up to the level. And again, not because I say so, my opinion doesn't matter, really, but most of the important critics and the audiences as well. Wisdom of the crowds, maybe. And this, Lucy is not in the sky with this, I'm afraid. We'll see, it's in the lake in terms of value added.